Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I am doing some mid-August cutbacks. I'm just back from a few days in New York City where Aiden and I were helping install some roof gardens on a fancy new building in Brooklyn. And the experience was absolutely transformative, especially for Aiden. But getting back here to the suburbs of Raleigh, North Carolina has made me filled with endless gratitude for the ease of being able to garden on the ground without all the logistics and frankly without a somewhat incompetent landscape crew. My crew today is Reginald. And to be perfectly frank, he knows more about horticulture than many of the landscapers that I have been navigating for the last few days. But really, today's video is just a compilation of me walking around and doing some necessary cutbacks because we are just under a month from the fall open garden, which is scheduled for Saturday, September 20th from noon to 4 p.m. Remember, this is the first big seed sale. We're also doing a native plant sale. We've got two great, awesome, well, I think we have more than two awesome art vendors. And the event is free, no registration, rain or shine. And I am adding a link to the description so that you can get all the necessary information. But I'm standing here in front of this stand of Baltonia because, well, it's a floppy mess and it's driving me crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a necessary cutback. This is something that I did not do the Chelsea chop on back in late May, and I clearly should have because, as you can see, it's grown completely out of scale and, well, it's just flopping out of its range and I can't stand how it looks. But we're basically just gonna do a lap all the way around both gardens and, well, I'll talk you through why I'm doing what and, well, hopefully this will inspire you to get outside and soak up some of this incredible southern humidity. A ton of rain. We had 3 inches while I was gone, but I have decided that I'm going to go ahead and cut back these big floppy orangium. But I'm not going to waste these. I'm actually just going to put them in vases out in the garden because I think they look really cool, but I just can't stand this. I just can't stand it. Also going to go ahead and cut back the Joe Pye weed. It's looking quite ugly, and I'm slowly but surely gonna cut back this silphium, but you can see there's still lots of flowers and there's a ton of pollinators on it, butterflies and bees. So I'm not gonna prematurely cut it all down, just cutting the stalks down that are finished blooming because I really do not want that seed to mature and then start self-sowing. So go ahead and do a little bit of cutback rehab here on the perennial pocket bed. Now from a distance, these pots I think look pretty good. They've been super productive, so I'm really not complaining. But you know, I planted these in early April and they stayed in the greenhouse till I got home from New Zealand in mid-May. And the greenhouse was really hot and a mealybug population kind of exploded while they were in that closed environment. Now I pulled them out and I thought for sure that nature would take its course, but here we are, the middle of August, and the mealybugs are worse than I've ever had, period. I don't actually usually ever have bad insect infestations because I really do rely on biological control, meaning other insects coming in and eating the bad ones. But this year, the mealybugs have just really overwhelmed everything. And a lot of plants are starting to go into decline because of it. So I went out to my shed and I was like, okay, I'll spray insecticidal soap. But for some reason, I saved an empty bottle of insecticidal soap, which is stupid. But while I was digging around, I found another product that again, I've had for years and I haven't used because I don't usually have major problems. But this is called Systemica Insect Killer. It's an organic spray that is specifically for mites, mealybugs, whiteflies, aphid, gnats, ants, and scale. And to be perfectly honest, I think I have a representation of all of those insects right now, particularly on annuals, but also on a lot of the perennials. I know for sure I've got spider mites like on all the Solidago, and I'm not really concerned that much about that, but because it's so easy to apply, you literally just hook it up to your hose and then spray it. I'm gonna go ahead and treat everything. Now, what's interesting about this product is it's made from rosemary oil, clove oil, water, soap bark, and humic acid. Totally organic, totally food grade safe. But because of my alpha-gal, the disease that I have from the tick that's made me anaphylactically allergic to mammals, I'm actually allergic to rosemary oil or rosemary extract. So I know it doesn't make sense, but it's just how it is. So I have to be a bit cautious about getting this on my body. I don't think I'm gonna have a reaction from spraying it. And literally, as I'm out here making this video, it's starting to rain again. And I don't wanna complain about the rain, but we could have like 5 or 6 hours off. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and hit pause, go inside and get some more computer work accomplished. Catch you guys when the water from the sky turns off again. All right, now that I've gotten the front container sprayed down, fingers crossed, that will eliminate that mealybug infestation. I'm out here dealing and debating with what I should do with my tower garden. Now, I planted it with cucumbers, and really from the very beginning, the mosaic virus showed up. That's predominantly spread by aphids. Productivity is really low, and frankly, it's just so ugly to look at that I've talked myself into taking out the cucumbers and going ahead and replacing everything with the recently sprouted broccoli. Broccoli is a way bigger priority for me than cucumbers. And so I'd like to go ahead and get the broccoli growing because I know it'll grow really fast in the tower. And while I'm here, I was just evaluating this particularly ugly trial tomato. And yes, it is producing, but it's really been ugly from the beginning. And it's only gonna get uglier as we get into the dog days of summer. So there's a pepper planted in this pot as well that's underperforming. I think if I go ahead and cut down that tomato, that'll give the pepper a little bit of light and air. Maybe it will be able to overcompensate and start producing some fruits for the fall. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some container maintenance here at the greenhouse patio as well. Well, this is really turning out to be a video all about pests. But before I left for the trip, I knew that I had hornworms because you can see the foliage is eaten. There's big caterpillar poops everywhere. And look here, I have one in my hand. Here's another one. You know, and they can be really difficult to see because of course they're green. And these have not been parasitized. These are full on. And you know, I'm not gonna kill them. I'm gonna throw them. Throw them away from the tomatoes. Because they do turn into a wonderful moth. And this is one of the complicated aspects of gardening, and particularly gardening now in this era where we're much more conscientious about pest versus pollinator. And in this stage, in their caterpillar stage, they're a pest. They can totally destroy your tomato crop. But when they transform into the moth, they're a night active pollinator. So my approach is probably the laziest, probably this is bad advice, but this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take them out here. There is nothing out here that matters if they eat it. And maybe they'll live to their adult stage. So there we have it. And you know, this was the last pots that I got planted. And I just kind of shoved them over here to make it easy to water, but I never even got tomato cages on them. I'm gonna go ahead and take this opportunity to move them into the bed on the left side, or yeah, the left side of the greenhouse entrance, where I've got cattle fence panel that's really only there to block deer. And now I'll be able to use that cattle fence panel to hold up some of these big tomatoes that haven't been completely devoured. Well, this is definitely a work in progress, and it's one of those days in North Carolina. It's not exceptionally hot, it's just unbearably humid. So I'm gonna call it. There's tons more maintenance to be done, but this video gives you some behind the scenes peeks as to what I'm looking at as we close in on 1 month countdown to the fall open garden. I do hope you'll mark your calendar and plan to come out for a visit. Remember, it's free, no registration, rain or shine. Well, as always, thanks so much for watching, and happy gardening, everybody.